Hey guys, Clint Arden here with ClintArden.com, and of course, the House of Biceps. I'm here doing a video review for Dan, a client of mine, and he sent me some videos of his squat, his bench press, and his deadlift. Now, Dan, here we are looking at your squat, and I've broken all of your videos up into squat, bench press, and deadlift for us to look at. Now, you do have some technical errors that we need to fix, and I see that throughout your videos you've worn some different types of shoes as you are training. Now, if you're wearing Chucks, I would really like to see you with a slightly wider stance. And one of the big things that I'm seeing right here is I would feel more comfortable with you more actively, aggressively pushing your knees out rather than sitting back. So I don't think you're doing a great job at sitting back in the process. I think you're having some problems with balance. I think because of your size and your levers, it's causing some different issues. And I don't think that you have quite figured out your groove yet on squats. So I would like to see a video of you doing some box squats. I don't care if it's a max effort, sets of 5, and dynamic effort, or all three, in order for me to get a better idea on where your weaknesses are, which is one of the reasons why I suggest box squats so much, is because any technical error is going to stick out like a sore thumb. So let's get here to this next video clip. Here we are with this next video clip I want to look at, and I want to break this down just a little bit more. There are a couple things that I see that's going on. Let me see if I can break this down and pause it for you right here. Look at where your elbows are right here. Look at where everything is. Look where the bar is. The bar is essentially in front of your knees. And this is something that I'm seeing through all of your squats. Your hips are rising really, really fast, and you're not having the perfect arch in your back. And I think you have several factors for this. I think the big factor is elbow placement. You have got to get your elbows under the bar. If you get your elbows under the bar, it's basically going to make it almost impossible for you to get in this position in the first place. So the first thing I want to see you doing is getting your elbows under the bar from the start, forcing your knees out, and see if we can eliminate this problem completely altogether. As you can see, your hips are going back a little more, but your elbows are still going back, and you're losing your arch. Now, I've left all of your squats here, but it's basically more of the same through most of your sets. So I want you to watch this and just watch your elbows. I see you're forcing your elbows down a little bit, but they go immediately back up at the top. You have got to force your elbows down through the entire lift, because you can see at the point in which you throw your elbows back is also the point in which your body is slowing down. I'm watching you from the back here, and I was hoping we would see something a little bit different. I'm seeing you are wearing a different kind of shoe. In this video, I found real interesting because I think it really makes something stand out. Now, I tried to slow motion this, but it would not slow motion for me without going completely crazy. So let me see if I can break down one of your last reps here to give you an idea on what we're seeing and what's breaking down. We got the elbow thing already. Let's add one more thing to the mix. Let's go and stop it right here. Now, here you are at depth. I don't care how deep this is, whether it's depth or not. You've got your elbows back. You've got to get your elbows down. I want you to see you forcing your knees out a little bit more, whether you're wearing the Olympic lifting shoes or the Chucks. I want to see those knees out a little bit. Now, watch what happens right here. Here you are coming up. Now, nothing happened there except your hips went up. There's no arch there. The bar essentially is not moving. Your hips rose, and basically that was it. So you're putting more and more pressure on your back. Now, watch what happens here. You came up even more. All you managed to do was shift your knees back. I would prefer to see you shift your knees out. Looks like they've possibly gone in a little bit, but your hips have just continued to rise. Again, your hands are even opening. And the last part of that lift is all lower back. I'm guessing you're one of those guys that everyone says how strong your back is, and you're trying to make this lift with your back, and you simply cannot do that. Why? Because you are stronger than this. You are much stronger than the weight you're putting up in the gym. You need to fix these technical errors first and watch your weights skyrocket. Now, here we are on the bench press. Now, there's nothing huge wrong in your bench press. You get lots of small mistakes, so we're going to walk through a couple of these here. You're hitting some singles, and the biggest thing that I'm seeing is I would like to see more leg drive from the start. I would like to see a little bit better arch. You've got to get more space under your body. You've got to get a better arch. You've got to get tight. I see your body moving left and right, and this is a fairly heavy weight for you. If you're getting sets of 3 here, but to be quite honest, I think you're capable of much, much more when it comes to the bench press. Your speed is really, really slow. I would probably have you press against bands. I'll probably have you do some sort of dynamic effort, whether it is a standard West Side barbell dynamic effort or whether it is a 5-3-1 modification where you are also using bands or chains as well. You've got to learn how to press with speed. Everything is very deliberate. Everything is very, very slow. Most of the time I see people having these kind of issues. I would tell them to do tons and tons of board pressing, which I still think that you need somewhere around the 3 board range to get used to max weights, to get used to handling the heavy weights often, but you need a lot more speed more than that. Now, watch this clip, important on your setup, and let's break it down and slow it down and stop right here. Look, your body is basically flat all the way across. You've got to get those legs in the ground. You've got to push with those legs. You've got to get that chest full of air and up as high as possible. And here you are about to unrack it like it's a very casual weight. You're not taking this seriously. Here you go. Here's the unrack and out, and that's where you are. Your whole body is flat. You've lost all of your arch. You have no leg drive going on. You look totally relaxed, and you cannot relax on the bench press. You've got to have more attitude. You've got to have more arch. You've got to be prepared to press with authority. And these are casual presses. There's other things going on with your elbows here, but those are small things in the big picture. First, I want you to work on that arch. I want you to, spend some time on the bench playing with it, getting better at the bench press, just working on your complete setup, getting tight. And I honestly think learning how to bench press against bands will solve a lot of this. Now we're moving on to your deadlift. Now, I like to deadlift. I like to pick apart deadlift, so we're going to pick this sucker apart right off the bat. A few things that I see going on. Let's start right here. Not a bad position. Your shoulders are a little far forward. Your head is down, which I would like to see you at least straight ahead. Now let's see what happens as soon as you pull the point of impact right here. You got your hips went straight up just like your squat. You lost all arch in your back. Shoulders went straight forward. Let's continue with the lift. Look where we are now, just below your knees. Look at the roundness in your back. I know you're reaching, trying to make your arms long, but you're making some mistakes in the process. Now here we are finishing the lift just above the knees. Look at the arch, or the lack of it, and the roundness in your back. We've got to get you in a better position from the start, from just below the knee and just above the knee, so you can deadlift better. Now, I'm assuming that you recognize that this is an issue with you. So what have you done? You're doing rack pulls. Now, I really don't think there's any kind of carryover rack pulls into a full deadlift because you're never in this position. But you happen to be one of those guys that you're in a very similar position with the rack pull as you are from the full pull, but you're just reinforcing the bad technique. Your shoulders are still forward. You still don't have an arch when you are deadlifting from the rack. Now, all of your deadlift videos are pretty much more of the same. The hips rise really, really soon. When you get somewhere around the knee, you stall, and then you're able to make the weight. Now, you're stalling because the timing's off, and your body is rounded, and the weight is way out in front of you. So once you fix that arch, a lot of positive is going to happen. Now watch, you're doing a set of 9 here, and I'm not really a fan of touch and go because look, right there, that is where you're on the ground. Look at your body position. I mean, that is never a good start position for the deadlift. So let's get ready and go from here. The only thing that happened was your hips went up again. Your shoulders really didn't go up much at all. You're continuing to have the bar way out in front of you. And it's just a continuing trend to see is that your hips are being the absolute first thing to rise when you deadlift and when you squat. Now here we are at the bottom of the knee. Look how far that bar out is in front. Look how far your shoulders are out in front of that bar. You've got to get your shoulders behind the bar. You get your shoulders behind the bar at this point, and you can lock out anything. Once again, look at this position again. We both know this is not a. You have no bend left in your leg. You've got to have some bend left in your knees. That way you can properly lock this out safely, and obviously with a heck of a lot more weight than what you have on the bar now. Now you're really, really, really close. Your strength is obviously there. You've obviously got a strong back. You've obviously got hamstrings that can withstand this kind of training. So all that simply means is once you fix your technique, your weights are going to fly up. You're going to be able to train harder, train heavier with heavier weights, with less and less issues. So this is something that's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed pretty soon. Let's try this another video here. I found this one pretty interesting as well from a different angle. Let's bring this up from the stop. Look where your shoulders are. And this, again, you haven't began to pull here, but you're setting up for the pull. And I'm often like this as I pull. But you've got to go back to my creating motion video. And right here, you've got to create motion with your body to rock those shoulders back. So when you do this, the start, your shoulders aren't so far in front of the bar. Now, if this was a snatch, you're in a pretty good position, other than the fact that you don't have any kind of arch in your back. But this is a deadlift. You've got to get those shoulders behind the bar. You've got to get an arch. You've got to be able to sit down at least a little bit. Get those shins vertical, because your shins are forward, your shoulders are forward, everything is leaning forward, and it's putting you in a terrible position. We're showing this video, and again, it's more of the same, but it's still a pretty decent angle to look at. Now, you're pulling some pretty hard sets here. Now watch this right here as I stop it. Look at this position. Now you are looking forward, but your shoulders are still way in front of the bar. Look how far your shoulders are from your knees. At this point with me, when I'm deadlifting, my shoulders are pretty much in line with about halfway up my thigh. I've got lots of bend left in my knee. My shoulders are way behind the bar at this point, and that's the position you've got to be in too. So locking it out is just a hamstring exercise and not a lower back exercise. Now once again, you're going back with the rack pulls, and that is just reinforcing what you're already doing wrong. You've got to learn to sit with this weight instead of picking this weight up. So how do we fix the deadlift situation and being here? Well, you've got to go back and watch my deadlift assessment videos. You've got to be working on some Dimmel deadlifts the way that I have lined them out. You've just got to work on some technical positioning work, and that's absolutely all that it is. You've got tons of strength, you've got tons of athleticism, you're capable of a lot. The only thing that you need is just technical work on everything. So what do I want you to do? I want you to go back and get me a video of you doing some box squats. I would like to see a standard dynamic effort box squat, a west side box squat with bands. I would like to see a semi-max effort box squat, and maybe even a 5-3-1 box squat. I don't care if it's with bands, if it's without bands. I just want to get it done. Bench press, I want you to do a west side barbell method bench press. We can set you up doing some clusters as well, so I have lots to look at. I want to see you do a max effort 3-board press. I don't care if we use bands, chains, whatever. I don't really care. I want to see you do a max effort bench press. And as far as your deadlifts, the main thing that I want to see you get me is a rack pull from, let's say, mid-shin. I don't care if it's 3s, 5s, whatever it is. And I want to see you get me a video of your Dimmel deadlift. So get me this as soon as possible. And let me get back to work on making sure that you're back on track, making the best progress possible on your squat, your bench press, and your deadlift.